So there are two reasons for the hatred, two primary reasons. Number one, Donald Trump totally rejects liberal policies and woke. There isn't one I can find that he supports. He didn't used to be that way. He was a registered Democrat in New York City. But now there's nothing on the left that he likes. And two is his demeanor. He's in your face. He does not speak precisely. He exaggerates, he brags, and he is putting on a show many times in the public arena. Those of us who know him discount that. I do. I mean, his tweets and all this, I don't take him seriously. All right? What I take seriously is what he tells me and what I can see in the policy realm. I take that very seriously. What he does at 3 a.m. on social media doesn't matter to me at all. But it drives some Americans absolutely crazy, okay? Now, my contention is that Donald Trump became president in 2016 because Americans despised Hillary Clinton. She lost. And at that point, Trump was running as a populist, and the nation just did not want Mrs. Clinton, particularly the heartland. Then, in his first term, Trump did pretty well, if you are a fair-minded person. So wages for working people went up, inflation went down to a very, very low level, and overseas was mostly calm. By those three, and those are the most important, he did well. But COVID wiped him out and created panic and insecurity. And then, in 2020, when Joe Biden ran against Trump, the non-ideological voters, which always decide presidential elections, it's not the Democrats or Republican hardcore people that decide. It's the floaters in the middle. They're feeling uneasy. And so they voted for Biden because he was a calmer presence than Trump. This is my opinion, but I think it's valid, okay? And so Biden takes over. Disaster to a degree that we will see in the next year or so how bad it was, but second worst ever. I don't want to be redundant, but if you read Confronting the Presidents, James Buchanan was the first, and Biden's not going to pass him. But Biden was absolutely, there is nothing that he did that I can see that helped this country. Nothing in 4 years. And I believe he wasn't even in command. But we'll see, right? All right, so when you evaluate Trump's reemergence as president, you have to, if you're fair, again, keep the Biden performance, and Kamala Harris is an extension of that, in mind. That's not what's happening. So powerful journalists, not as powerful as they used to be, I would say 90% of them, maybe 80%, if you count the Fox News crew, they lean toward Trump. They hate Trump. So let's take Scott Pelley. I mean, he used to be the anchor of the CBS Evening News, lead correspondent on 60 Minutes. I mean, obviously, he loathes Donald Trump, and he has used 60 Minutes to batter the president. And that's what he does. We reported specifically on how Pelley does not report accurately or fairly about Donald Trump. He just doesn't. And then we had this week this guy, Terry Moran, a big shot at ABC, big correspondent, national correspondent. He's fired because he tweets that Trump is a hater. Well, okay, but you're a reporter, not an analyst. If I want to say Trump's a hater, I can do that because I'm an analyst. I'd never do it because that's disrespectful to the office. I don't hate Joe Biden at all. I feel sorry for him, but I feel even sorrier for the country that he was president. Okay, but I hate him. But anyway, Moran gets fired because ABC is on the ropes. They have to do something, Disney, and they did. Then you have Bernie Goldberg, who's my friend, and who's an honest broker of information. Now, Bernie is an analyst now. Okay, he runs BernardGoldberg.com. We have him on the program from time to time. He has no use for Donald Trump at all. He's offended by Donald Trump. Okay, I'm not mad at Bernie. I respect that opinion. That's Bernie's belief. And Bernie, as I said, is an honest broker. He's entitled to that belief. And then another friend of mine, Bob Costas, brilliant sportscaster, liberal guy, but not a loon. Not a loon, okay? He's crazy about Donald Trump. Roll the tape.
Those corporations have specific financial stakes in running the gauntlet that the Trump administration will throw up against them, not just in the form of Trump's unhinged Truth Social rants and the things he says that are an affront to basic decency, forget about basic American principles.
Okay, so if I debated Bob Costas, and he doesn't want to do that, and I understand, okay, I could beat him pretty soundly. I mean, I don't see myself, Trump, being an affront to basic decency. You know, he's a businessman. He's made mistakes in his life. Everybody has. But I would tell you, believe me, I would tell you, if President Trump were doing something untoward or trying to undermine American principles. I'd be the first one to tell you that. I don't see it. And I follow him as closely as anybody does because I speak to him all the time. I don't see it. But Kasus believes it with every fiber of his body. And again, he's absolutely entitled to it. Kasus is a smart guy. All right, but he's crazed about Donald Trump. So this is not unique. All right, and many people forget about a history. So you, if you're of a certain age, a baby boomer, remember Dan Rather hated Richard Nixon, hated his guts. Roll the tape.
I wonder if you could tell us what goes through your mind when you hear people who love this country and people who believe in you say reluctantly that perhaps you should resign or be impeached.
Well, I'm glad we don't take the vote in this room, we say.
Okay, and it was on and on with Rather. Rather made his name pounding Nixon. Sam Donaldson, ABC. I saw this myself because I was a correspondent at ABC when Donaldson was there. This is 2004. Donaldson despised Ronald Reagan. Go.
I used to say, I thought if you were down on your luck and you got through the Secret Service, got in the Oval Office, and Mr. President, I'm down on my luck, he would literally give you the shirt off his back. And then he'd sit down in his undershirt and he'd sign legislation throwing your kids off school lunch program, maybe your parents off Social Security, and of course the welfare queen off of welfare.
All right, so Reagan didn't do any of that, but Donaldson's very liberal, more liberal than Rather. Donaldson was crazy liberal. And so this has been going on for a while, all right, this kind of liberal don't like conservatives. And you had the vice versa. Barack Obama got pounded, sometimes unfairly, by the right. Still does, okay? But let's get back to where we are now. There's one truism that overrides everything in the Trump is evil debate. If Kamala Harris were elected president, we would all be in major trouble. She would have carried on every Biden policy. There would have been no border reform. Inflation would be triple what it is now. She would have strangled the fuel industry. And overseas, Putin would not have been confronted at all. Okay, Gaza would have been aflame. China, which made tremendous strides during the Biden administration in espionage by sending people here. Remember the balloon thing? Biden ever explained that? Did you ever get an explanation about that? No. Biden let everything go because he couldn't focus. Kamala Harris had been elected president. I'm telling you, we'd probably be in a severe recession. Now, this is speculation. I understand that. But it's educated speculation. So the next time you hear the Trump hatred, okay, you just say, Kamala Harris would be better? And all of them would say yes. All of them would say yes, Harris would be better. And they'd be wrong. And that's a memo. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on X. Look for @Bill O'Reilly.